Hello and welcome to Manchester United, the D Unit's View. I'm joining you straight after, pretty much a couple of hours after, Manchester United won for the first time since 2023 away in Europe against Plzen. Victoria Plzen. I think that's how you say it. I could be saying that wrong. I'm not from the Czech Republic, so I apologise if I've got that horribly wrong. Look, the first 60 minutes were an absolute chore to get through. They were poor on every respect of the term poor. That's the best way of describing it. Joshua Zirkzee encapsulated this, and I think Ruben Amorim and myself have seen enough now to know that he is not going to be the answer moving forward. He gave the ball away 19 times. 19 times in this game, he ceded possession, either with a heavy touch, a sloppy pass. There were so many bad passes that went straight to the opposition in this game. I actually do not know what he was looking at for some of his passes, because it looked like he was looking exactly where he was passing it and literally just passed it straight to the opposition. If he was playing in defence, we would have conceded a lot more goals. Let's just put it that way. He was god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. And I think that you just write that off. That's probably one of the reasons why Dan Ashworth has lost his job, because they're probably like going, what the hell is this player all about? He does not look cut up. He does not look cut out to play for Manchester United in any way, shape or form. And it was only in the last half an hour after he went off where Man United started putting together threatening attacks, playing with speed. Yeah, he wasn't the only one though. Marcus Rashford also came back into the team here, and he was objectively poor as well. In fact, he actually had to be subbed again because it looked like he was almost going to get sent off. He got booked again in the first half for just stupidity, really. And then the second half, he dived in. I mean, on another day, a ref could have easily given him a second yellow card for that, and he would have been sent off. So look, he's seriously got to get to work. I actually think he's probably a sell. Like, we'll get on to Marcus Rashford a little bit later on, but yeah, it's definitely food for thought there. There were some more changes as well. Mazraoui obviously came back into the team for Lenny Yoro, which is not a surprise. I didn't expect him to start 2 games in a row. Matthias de Ligt started in defence with Martinez, so it was Martinez, Mazraoui and de Ligt, and they actually looked fairly solid most of the night. Diego Dalot actually started at right wing back, and Tyrell Malacia started at left wing back. Bruno Fernandes dropped deeper in again in this game for Casemiro. I'm not sure what I think of the Bruno Fernandes dropping deep, but look, it's something that we're probably going to see a continuation of depending on the way he rotates the team, but I expect Bruno Fernandes to start every game. And then up front, we actually had Amad Diallo for the first time under the Ruben Amorim era starting in the number 10 role, and he played the full 90 minutes here, and we'll get into him a little bit later on. Marcus Rashford obviously started there as well, and then obviously we had Joshua Zirkzee. So the first half, we had 71% possession and 1 shot. It was not pleasant to watch. It was a very boring game of football in the first half. I mean, Plzen weren't that much better, to be honest with you. It was just a difficult watch. It was like one of them ones where you're like, oh mate, if I got up, like this game was at the worst time possible as well. I had to wake up for 1:45 in the morning to watch this game. So it was a tough watch, that first half. And then obviously, then let's just talk about Andre Onana. I don't know what's going on with this man, but it's like he's just brought out the playbook of the Champions League group stage from last year and decided that this week he's reverting back to that kind of form. I mean, he was god-awful against Nottingham Forest on the weekend, which definitely cost us the points there. He was solely responsible for that. 2 of the 3 goals were unbelievably directly his fault. And in this game here, the goal that Plzen got was 100% his fault. He's passing out. He's playing a pass that was never on to Matthias de Ligt. It gets cut out. Simple cutback, score into the empty net. It was mind-boggling what he was thinking. I mean, the reason why Ten Hag signed Andre Onana in the first place was because he was meant to be good with the ball at his feet. His distribution's been poor. Like, that was super poor. There was no way that they should ever score from that. And that was one of their 2 shots on target for the game. It was just unbelievable. And like for a long part of this game, it looked like they were going to lose to just incompetence. But thankfully, it was not the case. Once we made the changes, Rasmus Hojlund came on in the 56th minute for Marcus Rashford. And then once Joshua Zirkzee came off for Mason Mount, the game changed. In fact, after those substitutions were made, you could tell that there was a difference. Anthony also came on for Malacia. So Anthony hopped over to right wing back and Dallo hopped over to the left. And it was actually Anthony who played the ball to release Ahmad down the right-hand side, who then did beautifully again. And then the ball fell to Rasmus Hojlund and he put it home. Actually, it was a really instinctive finish. Like, it could easily have been blazed over the bar with the way that it sort of made its way to him. But thankfully he was on board and on call and tapped it in. And then all of a sudden we're back in the game, 1-1, and we're by far the better team from then on in. I mean, Ahmad actually put the ball on a platter for Mason Mount, who should have scored. Let's be honest. His finishing wasn't up to scratch. On another day, Mason Mount could have scored twice here, but his movement was fantastic for both chances. We then had Bruno Fernandes pretty much put the ball on a silver platter for Rasmus Hojlund, who just couldn't divert it home. He diverted it wide. And then obviously we got later into the game and thankfully we came up with a winner in the 88th minute. Rasmus Hojlund again. It was a Bruno Fernandes free kick who's just sort of like lobbed it in. It was unbelievably good hold-up play from Rasmus Hojlund. He took it down on his chest beautifully, got it onto the floor and then got a shot away and in it went. It was a fantastic finish. Absolutely fantastic finish. And and then it was a bit nervy towards the end because obviously we then started ceding possession and inviting them onto us. But thankfully, the last 5 minutes was seen out without too much concern, other than the fact that we gave away a few needless throws and they pumped in a few long throws into the box. But other than that, it was a pretty, considering we gave away such a stupid goal, it was a good result. And look, we can't take wins away from Europe for granted because they have not been growing. In fact, any win in Europe has been hard to come by for Manchester United over the last 2-3 years. So we'll take it. It puts us into the top 8. I think prior to the games that were later on, we were in the top 5. But I think we'll still be in the top 8. I will double check that while I'm recording this, just to make sure I'm not waffling nonsense. So like these are the match stats, the main match stats that can be broken down. We had 69% possession across the game. I think we are now seeing that Ruben Amorim's teams will keep possession quite highly. And he does want to keep the ball. He doesn't want us to be throwing the ball away every 5 seconds. And I think that's why Joshua Zirkzee and other players are going to be found out and they're not going to be part of the team moving forward. 69% possession. If Zirkzee hadn't given the ball away 19 times, it probably would have been closer to 75. Let's just put it that way. The shots were actually pretty even. 17 shots for us, 15 to Plzen, but they only had 2 shots on target, and one of them obviously was that Andre Onana absolute howler that gifted him that one shot on target. And they only had one other shot on target other than that. Man United, though, we had 8 shots on target, so, you know, we definitely deserved the win. Let's be honest. We made 675 passes to 308. 199 were completed by Plzen compared to 559 for us. So you can see there we gave the ball away on 100 and odd different passes, which is not overly fabulous. Plzen did exactly the same. We had 15 tackles to 9. And we won the aerial duels as well, 21 to 15. So, like, look, those are the main key stats. The corners were, a bit all over the place. So, look, I'm just going to quickly delve into what Ruben Amorim had to say post-match. I'm going to have a quick read of that. So, this is what he had to say about the game. So, improving through the game. I think we improved during the game. We controlled the game in the first half, but without any great chances. There was a lack of speed, lack of movement, controlling the ball. Probably aimed at Joshua Zirkzee, that one sentence there. The pitch was difficult to make the connection with the strikers and the football frontal support, but we controlled it as Victoria didn't have the chances either. The second half we gave the goal away and then we react. We pushed the opponent into their half and we managed to score. We couldn't score before, but a win in this moment is important. It's important to look at the performance, but a win is always better to prepare the next game. So, then he talked about picking up the pace. The speed changed. I told the players that we need more movement in front because they have to feel that we are a danger behind to use the space. That changed a little bit the game, but also the guys that came off the bench helped. I think we improved not just with the way we play, but specifically with the speed of the game. And that's, again, aimed at Joshua Zirkzee. The dude just plays the game so slowly. It's like he's on a different wavelength. Subs made an impact. Different characteristics put different things in the game. That can help to win games. You never know what kind of player you need in a game. Today it was Rasmus and Anthony. Also changed a little bit the game. Everybody tried their best and we managed to win. Let's go to the next one. Hojlund getting better. He is improving. I think he's nearer the goal now. He knows better the movements that he has to do. He could score more this evening, but he's scoring, he's working, he's controlling better the ball. He's improving, and the other guys are also there to change the game from the bench, and they did it. Progress to make in passing. We are improving in some details. We control really well the transitions, and we are aggressive when we lose the ball. We need time to work on the possession. This team needs to spend a lot of time near the opponent's goal and not just in transition. So we are trying to work on that, but it's good to win. To prepare the next game, it's really important for us. And then on showing fight. We know that we need to win one game, and they fought until the end. That was important. I think we deserved the win. We didn't play very well, but we fought and we managed not to give up. That was a key point for me, and we're in a good place in the table. It's really important we take these 2 potential playoff games from our schedule to find time to work on the training pitch. That is music to everyone's ears. Let's be saying that. So, Ruben Amorim also talked about Ahmad, and he needs to play closer to the opponent's goal after his decisive second half performance in Plzen. Having largely been deployed as the right wing back by the Portuguese so far, he actually was one of the 2 attacking midfielders in this game, and I think we saw, particularly in the second half, the damage that he can do when he is closer to the opposition goal. So, Ruben Amorim said on this, I think he can be a very good player in that position. And he's a left footer. We need him in his team, left-footed players to play in that role. I think in the first half he was coming off for the ball too much. He needs to play near the goal, near the black line. Not there, but near. So it's the first time, and he will improve in the future. And I think that's correct. There was something that I really loved in this game as well. Towards the end, Ahmad probably should have played a ball to Rasmus Hojlund. And at the end of the whistle, Rasmus Hojlund was having a good argument with Ahmad. But I think that was super healthy for what the team is trying to develop. Because in reality, we want better passes to be made. Now, Garnacho came on as well towards the end of the game, and this is the kind of thing that he needs to be working on. Like Ahmad kept on putting the ball on the platter for different people. Garnacho had the chance, played a sloppy ball where he could have just easily cut through the defence. His final ball needs work. His decision-making, his passing ability definitely needs work in that system, because there should have been an easy third goal, but Garnacho just wasn't capable of playing the pass later in the game, and that's concerning in and of itself. He definitely needs to work on that in the ground. Bruno Fernandes also talked after the game. He said it was a good performance overall. In the final third, we have kept the ball a little bit more, but we knew the man marking from them was difficult to get away from. So sometimes it was just a more pass and run to try and find the gaps. And he talked about the spirit coming back from behind, and and then he talked about the Manchester derby. You know what it means to play in it. You know how much it means for the city, for our fans. So we have to do everything we can to win that game, because, like I said, in Europa League, it's the same in the league. We're not in the position we want to be. We need the points. We need to win. And for us, obviously, it's Manchester City. It's a Manchester derby, but it's just one more game that we want to, and we have to win. So look, looking ahead to Manchester City, I think they've lost 7 in the last 10 games. They've won once in the last 10 games. If there is a time to be playing Manchester City away from home as a Manchester United team that is still trying to find their way under Ruben Amorim, it is now. We are a very good chance of getting some sort of result there. I'm actually quite confident we're not going to lose, because Manchester City have just not been playing well. They look like they're in a massive funk. It looks like Pep Guardiola's run out of ideas. They are 100% there for the taking on the weekend. And I'm expecting us to go there and give them a really good game. I think the Manchester derby could be any kind of result. It just depends on how focused, how good our team play is, and making sure we're not giving away any stupid goals like we have in the last 2 games. If we can cut that out, I reckon we're 100% chance, a really good shout of getting an away win at Manchester City on Sunday. That is my honest opinion, based on what I've been watching from Manchester City over the last 4 weeks and what I've been watching from us over the last 4 weeks. So look, that is definitely something that needs to... That's what we should be seeing. We should be seeing is go there, go on the front foot, go and attack them. Because, I can't see us not going there and getting something. So look, I've just pulled up the league table here. So Manchester United now are in 7th place in the table with 12 points. So we're only 4 behind Lazio, who are leading. Rangers are in 7th. No, we're 7th. Rangers are in 8th. So we're in the top 8, but we're only 1 point clear. We do have Rangers next, so if we beat them, we probably should be a lock to stay in the top 8, and then the last game becomes a bit of a gimme. I mean, the next 2 games we really should be winning. I know that Rangers got a draw against Tottenham, but Tottenham are god-awful, man. I think they're in a massive funk there. I just think that we're a really good shout of winning this competition, and this is a way back into the Champions League. Let's not forget. If we can't get into the Champions League via the league, which is looking fairly remote, I would suggest, even though we're not miles away from 5th spot, and 5th spot might be enough to get into the Champions League. But the way Manchester City are going, they may not even qualify for the Champions League knockout stage. So that could also affect England's coefficient rank at the end of the season. So that's something to keep in mind. But look, the minimum thing we need to do here is make sure we do qualify in order to make sure that Ruben Amorim gets that extra time on the pitch without having to play 2 extra games. And then hopefully we can see some development, ideas and ideals being drilled into the players, because we can definitely see the structure. And I think that the possession is definitely there, but the actual ability to attack and the movements that are needed, the chemistry that's needed, that all needs to come into account. And we also just need to not be playing as many games so we can start having a more of a settled team that is going to go out there week to week and just dominate. Because we're not going to get it when we're making so many changes game after game after game after game after game. So look, that's definitely something to win. Now, certain players, obviously Dan Ashworth's left, and it's being reported that Jason Wilcox is going to be stepping up for the meantime in terms of the recruitment side of things and whatever. And I think it's safe to say that the majority of squad are probably going to be up for sale. Now, Marcus Rashford, it is probably time for him to go. Not going to lie, love the boy. He's a Manchester boy, born and bred. But I just think that moving forward, he probably needs a fresh start, as does Manchester United. And obviously, he also represents pure profit from from a PSR viewpoint and financial fair play. And I think that money would be needed then, and obviously he's on massive wages as well. He's the highest wage earner at the club. If we can move him on for a decent fee, there's going to free up so much manoeuvring or room to manoeuvre within adding to Amorim's squad and addressing the positions he actually needs. And I think we've seen from the opening 6 games now, which has been 3 wins, 2 losses and a draw, that Marcus Rashford probably isn't in the best 11. Based on what we've seen so far from all the other players. I actually think the best 11 consists probably of Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez at this point in time. I think Yoro could potentially come into that mix. Then it's probably Ahmad at the moment, and then it's going to be Mainu, Ugarte. Left wing back is probably Dallo at the moment, and then up front it's probably Rasmus Hojlund, and then in behind is Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes. That's what I think our best 11 is at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if we start moving towards that. Might even see a little bit of that on Sunday, against Manchester City. But that means that other players are going to be up for sale. So Marcus Rashford, Joshua Zirkzee, I think they're 2 prime candidates. I don't know what they really offer the team moving forward. And I think that there's money there to be recouped, wages to be moved on. Casemiro's another one, obviously on massive wages. Probably you try to move him on, because then it's going to open up more money for you to spend long term, because obviously you're not spending $300,000 a week on Casemiro. It's just a matter of whether someone's going to want to take him. I mean, Saudi Arabia that year when they were paying all this money, it's just a shame we couldn't have moved some of these players on then. I mean, they might still even be an option. PSG might be an option for Marcus Rashford. I really don't know. But you feel like just some of these players, I think like Ruben Amorim's giving everyone a go to check what he's got available and seeing whether they're capable of fitting into his system. But it's also really good and also sort of putting them in the shop window as well. Because they're getting game time, which means they're going to be fit, hopefully, when the January window rolls around in 18 days from here. And I think that's going to be important, particularly for moving certain players on. So other people are going to be able to see. I just don't think... I mean, like Marcus Rashford, he's just been in a funk ever since that one really good season. Ever since he signed that new deal, he just can't seem to get himself right for whatever reason. And I'm not here to speculate. I'm not here to think. But I think now, I was always of the mind, you keep him, he'll come good. But I think now maybe potentially he probably, even for himself, he probably needs to just leave and find somewhere else and hopefully find some better form. that's just my personal opinion. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's definitely something that I would be looking at moving forward. And yeah, look, let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new as well. Rate the show on audio and Spotify. I mean, Man United, yeah, what are we going to do? I mean, this is a good result. We need to be building on this. It's good that it was positive, because obviously we have lost back-to-back Premier League matches, which was not ideal, especially the one on the weekend was a galling loss. So thankfully we've corrected that. We're now back on track. We're back in the winners column, and hopefully that can continue moving forward, because realistically it needs to. And Manchester City are there for the taking. If we can't go there and beat them in the state they're in at the moment, then yeah, we've obviously still got a lot of work to do anyway, and Ruben Amorim obviously still got a lot of work to do in terms of implementing his style and his play and his ideals and everything else. But there is a chance to go and beat Manchester City in their own patch and add further misery to them. If that's not reason enough for our team not to go out there and batter the crap out of them, then there never will be a better one. That's it. All right, I'll join you for a review of that match in the UK. I am travelling there this weekend. I'll be there on Monday. By the end of Monday, I'll be there, and that's when I'll do my review of the Manchester derby. I will be watching, I think, just before I hop on the plane to go to the UK from Perth. So that's exciting. But yeah, I'm hoping for a positive result, and hopefully the next update I do will be very positive, based on the fact that we absolutely battered the crap out of Man City. That's what I'm hoping for. I will then be going to the games. I've got the Bournemouth game at home, so they'll be going to the next Premier League home game that follows the Manchester derby. So I'm very excited for that, which will be following next weekend. So yeah, I might even do a live update from outside Old Trafford after that game. Hopefully we'll find a game. All right, thanks for joining us. That's been the D Unit, Manchester United, the D Unit's view. Over and out. I'll see you guys on the other side in the UK.